Good evening, everyone from Azusa, California. Today, I wanted to talk about the topic of stress and chaos. Many people right now are experiencing that because we're struggling or juggling so many different things. We have our work, we have our relationships, we have our goals and our passions and the external factors that are involved as well. So it can be stressful. In this kind of environment, what is the solution? And there are many solutions, but today I wanted to focus on one specific thing. And if you are in this space, you're wanting to improve it, the answer is structure and routine. You need this. And two things that I wanted to share as an example that may be helpful for you that comes to the top of my mind. One is in the monastery. For us, when we do our ordination program, we have men coming from around the world to train themselves. The first thing you'll notice when people come, because they're coming from different countries, they have different habits. Some people are quite strict and disciplined, and others complete opposite. So no bedtime, no schedule. They eat when they want to, they sleep when they want to. Freedom, no discipline whatsoever, but it's okay. But they're coming here to train themselves. The first thing that we need to do, because we're teaching them a lot of meditation, the monk life, the ordination procedures, the wisdom, the rules, a lot of things happening. But before we can get to that, we have to make sure they have a schedule that they can follow. And the schedule is quite strict, and it's strict on purpose. The schedule for the new monks when they come to Thailand is in the morning, they wake up around 4:20. They get an opportunity to get themselves ready. Then they have morning chanting and also meditation, bright and early at 5 in the morning. So many of them are not used to it, but this is the first thing that they will experience. After that, typically is they'll go on an alms offering. They'll get to walk through the village and see the locals to experience the custom and tradition that has been passed on since 2,500 years ago, and it's quite an amazing experience. Once they're done with that, they come back. The new monks, they have breakfast. After breakfast, they will do some chores, doing the laundry and whatever that the monastery requires. After the chores, then they would have another lecture, a Dhamma talk with more meditation. After that, they will go to lunch. And after lunch, they have some free time a little bit. And then preceding that is another teaching around 2:30 p.m., along with another session of meditation. In the evening, they have time to shower. And then lastly, around 6:30, they're back again to chanting, listening to the teachings from the teaching monks, and then it's meditation time. After that, immediately is 10 p.m., lights out. And the next day, we repeat it all over again. So from 4:20 in the morning, all the way to 10 p.m. So the schedule is quite strict. When the men come here, it's challenging, even for myself, if I had to be honest, because back when I was a layperson, I made my own schedule. Any time I wanted to sleep, anywhere I wanted to go, I was a free man. No one set my schedule for me. So coming into something that was so strict was quite challenging. But slowly, then you start to adapt. And it's so interesting because the people that come to ordain, they really want to change themselves. They want to change their habits. They want to learn. They want to experience the spiritual part of themselves. And that sounds great. But for us we need to get the basic foundation first. In order for us to do that, we got to get you stable. And the stability comes from having a structure and having a routine. And the individuals will have a battle. It can be challenging. It will test them. But slowly, if they are patient, and we can see very clearly, step by step, they start to not fight the system as much. They start to surrender to the structure. And when the foundation is set, then right there, now they just go through the routine. They don't have to think about anything. They just open themselves up. And now you're just ready to learn. Whatever the teaching monks are trying to tell you, whatever comes up in the moment, just do it. Just do it. Just experience it. And if you can do this, then you'll start to experience more peace. The routine will start to ground the new monks. Slowly, they settle into the daily life. And then now, because you don't have to worry about when you're going to wake up. You don't have to worry of when you're going to eat, when you're going to dress. Take all of that stuff out. What's the next thing? And the next thing, when the external world is safe or the external world is predictable, now I can go inside and I can start to do the real work. Then you can see how they will progress in their meditation. They're more calm, they're more peaceful. From that, they have time to reflect and contemplate. So the structure is quite important. The second example of structure and routine that I wanted to share was in my lay life. For me, I was working as a licensed marriage and family therapist, and this is back at the group home for foster kids aged 12 to 18. We had at that time, almost 80 to 100 students. And the kids live there. The kids will go to school there. And it was quite challenging. They are dealing with issues with family, issues with just being teenagers and mental health issues. So it's expected and it's predictable. However, we had 20 different therapists there. We had 20 different houses, so you can start to see some houses were a bit more chaotic. Some houses were a bit more disciplined. And when we go to these meetings and we're updating to see how the clients are doing, what we find is that when a house is experiencing behavioral issues, the first thing we need to look at is what is the schedule. Is there even structure? And if there is structure that we did implement for you, are you following it? And we can see the pattern that the kids who, when they come home from school, they did not know what time they should wake up, or they do know what time they should wake up, but no one's enforcing it. They don't keep it. They'll go to school late. When they come home, I can come home whenever I want to. No one's checking in on me. I can do homework whenever I want to. I can eat wherever I want to, wherever I want to in my room. And when we see this, then it can correlate to some of the behavior issues or the discipline for themselves. So the first thing we need to do is identify this. And we have to help our staff. We have to help our team, and the therapist and the staff will work together to see, okay, now let's tighten this up. Let's establish a bedtime routine. Let's establish when you're going to wake up and leave the house when you're going to go to school. When you come back from school, when are you going to sit down and do homework? Where are you going to do homework? What time is cut off? And then what time do we turn off the lights? And when we do this, it's such a big difference. And the kids will fight you tooth and nail. If you have teenagers out there, is this not the case, right? And that's expected, and it's okay. But from the teenager's point of view, they do not want this. They do not want structure. They do not want discipline, or the words that are coming out of their mouth, it's saying this. But what we find in the mental health world is that children actually need and want routine, and they want structure. Why? When they have structure, what we find is that the kids actually feel that the caregiver care for them, that the parents love them, that the people who are taking care of them value them, and this feels safe. The safety part of it, the predictability part of it, makes the kids, again, more calm, more safe, and they know what to expect. Imagine coming home and your environment is unstable. Then, okay, what's happening today? And you don't know. And for many young people, there's already a lot of issues going on. And when you don't know what to expect when you come home, already it dysregulates you. So having the structure implemented is a way that we can help to support these young people. So we can see the correlation that when the kids have structure and routine, their mental health starts to improve, their grades, their behaviors, their interactions will start to stabilize. So this is a good thing. Then now we have to ask, why am I sharing this and how does this relate to you? So coming back to your life is like in the beginning, you're juggling a lot of things. Imagine with the work, the school, relationships, and the million other things that you're dealing with. Now you also do not have a routine and a structure. You don't even know when you're going to eat for lunch because your work or your school is so busy. That can add even more stress. So if you are in this situation, no judgment. Been there before, no big deal, and it happens. And the suggestion or the advice is really now look at your life. If you are in this space and if you have a routine, keep going. Then start to tighten other areas. If you do not have a routine at all, create one. Where do you start? And where you start is, let's come back to basic needs. If you have nothing at all, let's start with sleep. Have a sleep time. This will address so many issues because a lot of issues are falling behind this topic. But pick a time based off your lifestyle that is sustainable. An example is 10 p.m. In the beginning, it's going to be difficult. But what I find is that your body will fight it. And that's okay. You'll throw in logic, more fighting. Again, that's okay. But try to keep this. And then you know what? You'll start to change your behaviors to match this. If 10 o'clock is a hard, firm line, that a habit that I'm trying to establish, and I can't shift this, I'll shift everything else. Okay, now because I know I have a bedtime, I'm not going to stay out so late. Now that I know I have a bedtime, I'm not going to drink coffee at 8 p.m. because I have to sleep on time. And you'll start to adapt your actions. You'll start to adapt your lifestyle to support this. Another thing that you can do, a basic need to focus on to create more structure and discipline for yourself, is then with eating. It sounds not a big deal, but it is a big deal because many people don't even have a schedule because, okay, I'm just going to work and I will eat when there is an opening. And yes, from time to time it does happen, but if you can, try to establish this. Have a set routine. Some people will ask, or the objective or the pushback when I talk to them is, well, I don't eat in the morning because I'm not hungry. Okay, that can happen, but for us too, as Buddhist monks going into the monastery, we have to eat at 7:30 and we eat at 11 or 11:30 every single day. In the beginning, I'm not hungry. I don't have an appetite, but slowly you will start to adapt. In the beginning, you might not eat anything. You might not eat, or you might just eat a little bit. But then nighttime, you start to get hungry. The body will adjust, your mindset will adjust. Like I said in the beginning, very challenging and very common. But keep this up and slowly you'll start to adapt your lifestyle and the body will catch up. So start here. But moving forward, there's two options. One is you can just freestyle your life, and every day I'm just gonna kind of guess what I'm doing. No plan, and depending on how busy I am, the projects I have, who I'm talking to, what comes up in the external world, I'll adapt. I'll sleep based off the outside world. I'll eat based off the outside world. I'll create a fitness schedule based off the outside world. Or another choice may be, well, let me just take control of this part. Let me try to create a structure that is container where it can give me some kind of foundation and stability and a peace of mind. At least these basic needs are met. At least I can have the foundation so strong and grounded. I don't have to worry of when I'm eating and when I'm sleeping and when I'm doing a lot of these things. Just put it into the schedule. And from that, then you can start to take more risk, bigger risk. And what will support you is this foundation. But I hope this is helpful. I just wanted to share it because a lot of people are asking us this question. They just feel a bit stressed. They feel overwhelmed because they're juggling so many different things. But if that is the case, then come back to creating a routine and disciplined schedule for yourself that actually works and is sustainable. But with that, just sending you all my blessings and good wishes. And again, I hope this is helpful. Satu, take care.